how about that? A new and improved Headbangers and Hooligans on a Metal Monday. As always, thank you for listening. Yours truly, Scummalicious. Yeah. Got out the guitar this weekend and came up with a few new riffs, and you'll be hearing them over the week. I'm just trying to keep the show fresh and exciting. And nothing screams excitement like new guitar riffs. And especially for my weekly live podcast on Saturdays, the Scum Report, which is slowly becoming a gigantic hit. It should be trending on Twitter before the week's over, I'm telling you. There's this huge buzz around that show. I can feel it. But came up with a couple new riffs for that show, so that'll be fun. But we are talking about metal, because it is a Metal Monday, and I know you have a hangover, especially if you live here in Iowa like me. Big game. In case you didn't know, or if you don't watch college football, which I'm sure some people don't. I know it's hard for some people to believe. But there is people that actually don't give two shits about sports. But either way, Hawkeyes win 55-24 over Ohio State. Why is that a big deal? We never get to experience stuff like that here in the state. We just don't. We don't have a professional sports team, and so for those of us who do enjoy football, that was pretty nice. You know, it's just nice to see a team that everybody talks about year after year, like the fucking Ohio State Buckeyes and Michigan Wolverines and USC Trojans and Alabama and Clemson and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was good to see some of our boys whipping some ass on the football field. And a special shout out to a Sea-Towner, a fellow Sea-Towner, TJ Hawkinson. I see you. Alright, enough sports. Not every band's debut album is amazing. There have definitely been some bands whose debut album is awesome, and then the rest of their albums don't live up to that first initial recording. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to give some love to some second albums that lived up, or maybe are even better than the debut disc. And me being the creative genius that I am, I have to say these things because I am a legend in my own mind. I know that's pretty fucking lame, but anyway, I did come up with 10 pretty good albums, and hopefully you'll enjoy them as much as I do. Let's talk about them. And there are not in any particular order. I'm not saying one is better than the other, so it's just a random list. Iron Maiden, obviously. You had to know that I was going to go there. And if you want to debate that Killers is better than the debut, I don't think there's too many people that would argue that. I think most, I could be wrong, but I think most hardcore Iron Maiden fans think that Killers is way better than the debut, and I like the debut, but we are talking Killers, and as you know, it's in my top 50 of all time. It's in my top 10 of all time. You know, Purgatory, Murders in the Rue Morgue, it's an amazing album, and on top of it, it's the last album that Paul Di'Anno sang on, so that kind of holds a special place in my heart. So definitely, Killers has to be on there. This is another no-brainer. Gore, Scumdogs of the Universe. And a lot of people haven't heard their debut, or at least a a lot of some of the newer fans of Gore, and I say newer fans because you got to remember, this band's been around for 3 decades. Are they the heavy metal version of the Rolling Stones? They could be. I know some people are like, that's just fucking asinine. What are you talking about? Either way, nice little nugget that I found out yesterday when I was kind of looking up all these albums and seeing, how people thought of them or ranked them in their, in their discographies. Scumdogs of the Universe from Gore is still their best-selling album. They came out in 1990. That's hard to believe, but it's an amazing album, and it is a big step up from their first album. I love Gore. Everybody knows that. But Hello after We Kill Everything, and we know that that's nobody's favorite album, even the band doesn't like that album. A lot of people would rank Hello right after that. Not that it's terrible, it's just doesn't have a kind of raw production. And Scumdogs of the Universe is when Mike Dirks, yes, that same Mike Dirks ballsack, that's the first album he played on. And then Jizmac, Brad Roberts, that's the first album that he played on as well. And it's just a great album. The Salamanizer, Slaughterama, Sick of You, a lot of their legendary songs. And obviously, a lot of people agree with me, still their best-selling album. Came out in 1990. Amazing. Alright. Rat. There you go. Invasion of Your Privacy. Now remember, they did have an EP, not a full-length album. Out of the Cellar was their debut full-length album. Because I know, I was feeling it. I know some people would call me out on that. That's not their second. An EP is not a full album. I know I'm getting all technical here, right? Anyway, Out of the Cellar. I think everybody knows how much I love Out of the Cellar. That is an amazing album. Invasion of Your Privacy is so overlooked. For one thing, when you come out of the gates with an album like Out of the Cellar, it's going to be really hard to compete with that. How in the hell are you going to record an album better than that? But they did their best. Granted, it's not the same album as Out of the Cellar, but it is really good. You're in Love, Lay It Down, Between the Eyes, very, very underrated song. Give It All, the guitar solo on that is amazing. And especially on that album, it's rat and roll, man. Robin Crosby, Warren DeMartini, the double buzzsaw guitar duo. I love their guitars on that album. Never Use Love, that's another good song. It's a really underrated album. And remember, I didn't say it had to be better. It can be just as good. And it's not better than Out of the Cellar, but it's still just as good. All right. Why did I say it like that? I said, Out of the Cellar. You know? I don't know. Why do I say the things I say? I have no fucking idea. One nice thing about having a Metal Monday is that I get to talk about bands that I haven't got to talk a lot about in a while. Armored Saint is one of those. Delirious Nomad came out in 1985. Still have the cassette. This is better than their debut, and I like their debut, March of the Saint. But Delirious Nomad is a Great album. You don't hear about it. It's not on anybody's top 10 list. You know, Loudwire, and Blabbermouth, and Metal Injection. I like all those websites, but they don't really list any Armored Saint albums. This band is so good. I just watched a clip of them on YouTube. John Bush, lead singer, sounds just as good as he did 30 years ago. He really does. Unbelievable. Dave Pritchard, rest in peace, their lead guitarist, was amazing. And especially on this album. The song Aftermath alone puts this album over the top. It's one of Armored Saint's best songs that they've ever recorded. I like Long Before I Die, the opening track. Conqueror, it's a great song too. And like I said, March of the Saint, good debut album. A lot of bands would be happy to have an album be a first album as good as that, but Delirious Nomad, they come out swinging. Great album. Next one, Dio. I was trying to sound like Otis right there, but once again I failed miserably. The Last in Line. This was a topic a couple weeks ago. Underrated and overrated. I do have Holy Diver as being a bit overrated, and I had Dream Evil underrated. The Last in Line, I think, is his best album. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't hate anybody if they picked another Dio album as their favorite, because it's Dio. But it's Dio and Vivian Campbell at their best. We Rock, The Last in Line, Breathless, One Night in the City, Egypt, The Chains Are On. Yeah. Talking about a legendary metal album, so The Last in Line definitely belongs on here. And next, God, we're already on my 6th album. Flying through these today. Metallica, Ride the Lightning. And you know what? I went and listened to this again because I hadn't listened to it in a while. I really forgot how good this album was. And remember, Kill 'Em All. Great debut album. I think personally that Ride the Lightning is better. And for me personally, and hardcore Metallica fans will probably disagree with me, and they have every fucking right to. I think Ride the Lightning is even better than Master of Puppets. That's just my opinion. My favorite, as everyone knows, is And Justice for All. I really did. I forgot how great this album was. First off, it starts out with Fight Fire with Fire. And little disclaimer here, I have this on cassette, but a recorded blank set. Fuck, I cannot talk. Blank cassette. And I copied it off a friend. Oh, you didn't buy it? You mean you didn't give the millionaires more money? Metallica? No, I didn't. But it starts off with Fight Fire with Fire. Great, opening track. The next 3 songs in a row are 3 of the greatest songs Metallica's ever written. Ride the Lightning, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and Fade to Black. 3 amazing songs in a row. That alone puts that album, in kind of its own little place. That is pretty awesome. I kind of forgot that for some reason. Creeping Death is a great song. I like Trapped Under Ice. There's 8 songs total, and 6 of them are really good. And Master of Puppets is a great album. The first 4 are all good, but to follow up their date Kill 'Em All with Ride the Lightning, pretty good stuff right there. I think you'd agree with me on that. At least that part of it anyway. This is one of those shows. I don't know if it shows or if you can hear it. I guess that's probably a better way to phrase it. Can you tell I'm kind of enjoying doing this? There's a little pep in my step. Well, it's because Penelope finally said yes. And what I mean by that is she spent the night. She didn't leave in the middle of the night. I woke up to her face, and we looked into each other's eyes, and I said, Penelope, why are you still here? And she said, because I'm hungry. I need you to make me breakfast. God, I thought maybe you just wanted me to hold you in my arms. And she said, no, I want you to get in the fucking kitchen and make me food. God, you're such a skank, Penelope. Alright. Megadeth, that's my next band. Peace Sells, 1986. You remember that? Remember that year, 1986? I do. I was 15. And all the girls were calling, oh, Dan, you're so cute. Yeah, I just used that other name. You're so cute. You're so funny. Will you go out with me? Nope. Why? Because I'm going to stay home on Saturday and watch Headbangers Ball. That's why. Biatch. Yeah, we was actually using that back in the 80s. Anyway, Peace Sells. First off, it starts off with Wake Up Dead. They made a video for that. You should check it out. I don't know what it is, but I really like that video. It's simple. It's them up there in a cage. And I like the middle of that song. It changes tempo. And the one thing about Peace Sells, super heavy. And I don't want to get people confused when I say this. It's less technical than definitely Rust in Peace, but that's okay. Because it's still heavy. But kind of a more of a, I don't want to say groove, but like a more, the songs, a little more focus on like the actual songs. And there's only 8 songs on the original album, and none of them are super long, and that's okay though. All right, that doesn't mean I'm saying it's simple music. Okay, I mean Rust in Peace is just fucking unbelievable. Maybe Sarah from the Banger TV, she can review that album. Tell me what she thinks of them solos. Here's the Dave Megadeth solo that's kind of, I don't know. It's okay. I gotta stop. I'm going overboard with that girl. I like her for the most part. She just pissed me off with her review of Cannibal Corpse. Anyway, Peace Sells is a great song, and that's a great video. It's probably one of my favorite videos from Headbangers Ball. The Headbangers Balls Days. Headbangers Balls Days? Headbangers Ball Days. There we go. I cannot talk. What the hell? I'm so in love with Penelope. All I can see is her face, and I can't talk. I'm kidding. It's all a joke. Seriously. I don't know why. I just have to do that. It's entertaining to me. And then, of course, a lot of people don't know. Well, I shouldn't say that. A lot of non-hardcore Megadeth fans don't know about their debut, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, which, by the way, is one of the greatest titles ever. I mean, that is an awesome album title. I don't care if you like Megadeth or you don't. That's a great album title. But Peace Sells is definitely, to me, a step up from that album. Right? But Rust in Peace, to me, that's the main one there. That's this. If you want to become a fan of Megadeth, that would be the album I would recommend personally. Alright, we got 3 left. And number 8 on Second Best on a Metal Monday. Headbangers and Hooligans metal albums that were recorded after the debut. God, how much more complicated can I make that? Death Angel, Frolic in the Park. I talk about Death Angel a lot because they always get left out. We know about the Big Four. And there's a lot of other bands besides them. And a lot of hardcore heavy metal fans talk about them, but nobody else does. And I'm glad that there's some of us that do. Like Overkill, like Death Angel, like Testament, Exodus. Death Angel to me belongs with the Big Four. I know they don't. They're not on the as far as popularity as on the same level as those bands, but man, they have a good discography. Just not enough people listen to them. But Frolic in the Park, which came after Ultraviolence, starts off with Third Floor, and right off the bat you get to hear Mark Osagueda, how he sings. He's a great singer. He still is. He still sounds good. And of course, Rob Cavastani on guitar. Third Floor, they get right after it. Then you get Road Mutants. Love the little bass intro. And really, to me though, it's Bored. And of course, I recorded that video. I remember just wearing out that VHS tape, watching that video. I'm bored. Da, 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 da. And trust me, at the time, I thought that was the heaviest shit I've ever heard in my life. I was like, fuck, this is insane. And now, of course, it's nothing compared to all the extreme metal bands. But definitely, Death Angel, Frolic in the Park, great album. But it's the next one for me, Act 3. That is the pinnacle right there. No, not the Pinnacle in the Pit. I know there'd be some smart ass that would throw that in there. Like me. Faster Pussycat, Wake Me When It's Over and It's Done. Now the debut, you just can't top that. You can't. Not for me. That's a very special album, and I've talked about that ad nauseum before, so we won't go down that road. But Wake Me When It's Over is an album that I really haven't touched on, but it is a really good album. Where there's a whip, there's a way. That's how you start off an album, okay? And trust me, there's probably a lot of people that disagree with me. They probably think this is better than their debut. I don't. It is just as good. It's not better than their debut to me. The one thing about this album is really long songs. Where There's a Whip, There's a Way is like 6 minutes and 44 seconds long. And they kind of... Do I want to say it's a little more technical? I hate using that word when you're talking about glam bands, but you could say that a little bit. But Poison Ivy and of course House of Pain, which is a good song. That's what really made them blow up. Can I even use that term anymore? And then I like Tattoo. She's got my name. She's got my name. She's got my name tattooed on the backside of her frame. I just always thought that was a cool line. Of course, I like Slip of the Tongue. But yeah, really long albums. The album's like almost an hour long, I think. And then their debut was probably a little over 30 seconds long. So, yeah, they kind of progressed as a band a little bit, and it's a good album. It's a good album, but remember, it's not better than the debut. Just my opinion. And I'm going to end this with the no-brainer. What? And I talked about Killers and Scum Dogs from Gore. This one too here. I'm talking Def Leppard, High and Dry. And I think it's their best album that they've ever recorded. And I like Pyromania, but I still love High and Dry. You know how I was going down the list of the like Metallica with Ride the Lightning? This is how Def Leppard, High and Dry. You get Let It Go, you kick off the album with that track. Another Hit and Run. The title track, High and Dry, which is awesome. Bringing On the Heartbreak, big hit. Right, we hear it on the radio. Switch 625, an instrumental, which is still one of the best instrumentals I've listened to. It's that good. Then you get Lady Strange on the second side. I have this on cassette. It is just an incredible album. There's not a bad song on it. And On Through the Night, their debut, solid album. It's got 4 or 5 songs that I skip. I don't skip any songs on High and Dry. Steve Clark, he's the key. That dude was a songwriting fucking machine. I'm telling you, and I've mentioned it before, no one considers him like a guitar god. I don't care. That dude knew how to write a kick-ass song, and to me that's more important than being able to play 1,000 notes a second. That's just my opinion. And this was the last album that Pete Willis played on before he was replaced by Phil Collin. Pete Willis, who got kicked out for being... If I'm reading all the stories right, like, he drank too much. Really? How old were you fucking guys? Like, in their 20s? Oh, he drinks too much. Like, you should want him in your band. Just like Paul Di'Anno. He didn't take music serious enough. Oh, yes, they do. They're young. They want to have fun while they're playing in a band, and that's what you should do. But that's a whole other story. Definitely, though, High and Dry. Sophomore album. It's a fucking classic. So there you go. Yeah, I had fun with that. I hope you did too. And I'm pretty sure that hangover is gone. Alright. Take it easy when it's easy. Take it twice. I'm out.